Hello, welcome to iGuide Movies. I'm Timothy Guy, and I'm joined as always by my partner in crime,
Stephanie Holland.
We've got a somewhat crowded week this week for movies, and I think there's pretty much something for everyone.
Yeah.
Even if you like crappy movies, there's something for you.
Okay, so what are we starting with?
We are actually starting with something that has a local connection.
Oh, really?
Argo, which is directed, written, starred, produced by Ben Affleck.
Did he write it?
He did something, who knows?
Ben Affleck, he's really sort of reinvented himself. Got this second act career going on like Clint Eastwood as a director.
Yeah, I think he even did the catering. I'm pretty sure.
He was in the bag whipping up
Yeah,
omelets.
he was doing some frittatas back in the back. So what it is about these people, the Americans that were living in Iran. The big revolution happened. They were trapped there. So the CIA created a plan to pretend like they were a movie shoot with Canadians to get them out.
Well, obviously the hostage part and all that happened. We don't know if the part with the fake movie shoot happened.
You never know.
But so is he a CIA guy?
He's like an analyst, yes.
Who wants to get them out, so he creates this fake movie shoot and he's going to sneak them out as part of the Canadian film team. So he has to get Hollywood people, real Hollywood people to help out, and then he has to get them to know their covers because that's the only way they're getting out. The amazing thing about this movie is how good is the cast. So Ben Affleck is in it, of course, also with Bryan Cranston, John Goodman, Chris Messina, Kyle Chandler, Alan Arkin, Titus Welliver, Victor Garber.
Clea Duvall's in it.
Clea Duvall. I mean, it's just a ridiculous cast of people.
And the inland connection, which I knew we would get to that eventually, is what was Tehran Airport is really the Ontario airport. They filmed it on Ontario.
Well, that's not the busiest place. I guess they had
it's pretty
they
empty.
had time to film a movie there.
We'll be talking about that later. So I think this is a good one because I'm sure this is going to be an Oscar contender.
This is really the first big award movie of the season. That's what people are saying, is that this is the first Best Picture movie coming out.
Yeah. So we're going from Best Picture to something that's not Best Picture, and that is Here Comes the Boom.
Here's my question. Number one, why do people keep letting Kevin James make movies? And number two, why in his movies is it always some actress like Salma Hayek playing the love interest?
That's in his contract. He said, like, I will not work unless there's a beautiful woman playing my leading lady.
In what universe is Salma Hayek Kevin James' love interest?
I want to be in that universe. That's what I want to be.
So Kevin James plays a high school gym teacher whose program is being cut because of obviously budget cuts. And he decides he's going to save the program by doing MMA.
Well, you know, getting punched in the face, he probably knows a lot about that.
But the comedy comes from the fact that he's terrible as a mixed martial artist and he just keeps getting beat up. And I presume there's a lot of actual MMA fighters in the movie.
There is.
Joe Rogan, who works with the UFC a lot as a commentator, he plays himself, I guess, in the movie as well. And Greg German plays the principal. So
Henry Winkler's in it too.
The Fonz! I love the Fonz so much. Henry Winkler, he's just the nicest man on the planet.
And he's funny. He's in these movies like The Water Boy and things like that. So he is really funny too. So.
It's one of my most favorite interviews I ever got to do was interviewing Henry Winkler because he was just the nicest man.
Was that in person or over the phone?
Over the phone, but still he was so excited to talk to everybody. It was fun. But so we would assume you're sitting there for 90 minutes watching Kevin James get beat up and hilarity ensues.
And why is that a bad thing?
Well, I'm guessing it's not really as funny as they want you to think it is.
I think it's more heartwarming, like he's doing it for the kids. And
you're right. And then in the end, you know,
he saves his
everything works.
Yeah, and he wins Salma Hayek in the end.
Of course.
And he gets punched in the face again.
Of course.
Yeah. Another movie which, surprise, surprise, at this point right now that we're talking, it is the best reviewed horror movie in a very long time.
Wow.
Talking about Sinister, which stars Ethan Hawke. He plays this writer. He's a true crime writer, and he moves into this house where all these murders happened before. He's writing a book about it. He finds these old home movies, which actually turn out to be sort of snuff films in a way, where it shows the families being murdered, and there's a supernatural element to it because it's this demon that lives in the images, and if you look at him, then you've been marked or something like that. So you're gonna die. So then, you know, he looks in the TV and you see the guy, and he turns away, and the guy's head moves, and it's like it's a still picture. So it's a scary movie. Ethan Hawke's in it.
It's sort of like Paranormal Activity meets The Ring.
Yes.
I bet you that's how they pitched it. When they were sitting in the studio, they said, "We've got this horror movie. It's a cross between Paranormal Activity and The Ring."
And that's going to be on the TV commercial. It's like, if you like Paranormal Activity and The Ring, and you're gonna love this movie.
But Ethan Hawke is great. I love him in most everything he does. Obviously, I'm not going to go see this, but the other part of that is, of course, it's October, and horror movies do really well.
It does, yeah. And what Paranormal Activity comes out very soon, too.
Paranormal
the fourth
Activity 4. Who
one.
knew?
4 or 5, 8,
4.
one of them, yeah.
Wow.
They're still cranking those out. It's a new Saw.
Yeah.
So, lastly, I want to save the best for last. Don't laugh, don't chuckle. You're going to... 7 Psychopaths,
Okay.
which I think is one of the most anticipated movies I have of the year. It stars Colin Farrell, and it's about this guy who steals a gangster's dog, and everyone's crazy, and the gangster wants to get it back.
Well, Christopher Walken's business is he kidnaps dogs and then returns them, like he found them, and then he gets reward money. But he kidnaps the wrong dog because he kidnaps Woody Harrelson, who's this sort of crazy gangster guy. He kidnaps his dog, and then they're just on the run. Him and Sam Rockwell and Colin Farrell are like on the run for their lives because they've kidnapped the wrong dog.
And great cast too. Woody Harrelson's in it. Gabrielle Sidibe's in this movie.
I do love Gabby Sidibe.
Love her.
She's awesome.
From Precious.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson, Christopher Walken, Olga Kurylenko, the Bond girl.
She's a great actress.
Abby Cornish. So, yeah.
Zelko Ivanek is in it.
Who is also in Argo, so it's a big week for him.
Wow.
So it has a really great cast. Here's the thing. It's done by the same guy who did In Bruges.
Martin McDonough, yes.
Which Tim loves.
Stop what you're doing. Go on Netflix. Go to the Redbox, because it's on Redbox too, and rent In Bruges. It's an amazing movie.
They've actually been showing it for the past couple weeks on Cinemax as well. So if you have Cinemax, you can look for it because they've been showing it. I didn't love it the first time I saw In Bruges. Tim loved it. Because he loved it so much, I went back and gave it a second viewing, and it's okay. It's funny. There are parts of it that I do find really hilarious, but I still am not in love with it the way that Tim is.
Oh, I am. When else can you see Colin Farrell karate chop a midget?
Yeah, it does have its funny parts, but the movie as a whole, I'm not like crazy about it.
Yeah, years later, I still can't even get her to watch The Wrestler. So what are we gonna do?
We're still hearing about
this.
So Tim's very excited about 7 Psychopaths.
Yes. So what do you think is the best movie weekend? I don't have to say mine, so we're just gonna go for you.
I think it's probably Argo.
Okay. Well, you've been wrong before.
I think 7 Psychopaths is gonna be like In Bruges, where it's an acquired taste.
No, it is, and I'm not saying it's gonna make a lot of money, but I will be seeing it.
Okay.
So
There you go.
we'll see you next week.